Hello, welcome to DK Boljat. I'm glad you're here. Today I am painting a hummingbird onto the background that I did in the previous video, and I have him drawn in with a regular pencil and he's ready to go. So I'm going to start with some brown. This is burnt umber. Let me show you the colors. Burnt umber, ultramarine. I'm going to get like a dark brown that's almost black. So I've mixed it together here and I've got a pretty good idea what color it is because of how it turns out when I add the white to it. So I'm gonna take some of this dark brown and paint the upper edge of his wing. And I keep saying his because I'm going to make him have a red head like the males have. I don't know that there's much of a difference otherwise. Well, of course there is, but I mean to our naked eye, I don't know that there's much of a difference between the two, the male and female Anna's hummingbirds. Maybe that'll be the next thing I study, huh? The males are the ones that sparkle. Well, the females sparkle too, but the males sparkle and are iridescent and have red heads or all sorts of colors in their feathers. And it's to attract the female. When they're doing their little flying really fast and everything, it's to attract the female. So we're going to put some of that feathers on here. Now I need to fade that out a little bit because it's kind of a thick line. The brush I'm using is 10/0. It calls it a flat, but it's a round. I don't know. It says 10/0 flat, but okay, well it looks like a round. I'll show you when it's wet and it's got nothing on it. Just gonna put in the edge of this and then we'll fade it out a little bit. I'm going right over the pencil. I don't want the pencil to show on this piece of work. But he's gonna be handsome. Okay. So I need to blend it out a little bit. I've got a regular round brush. This one is a number 4 Blick. I get it wet with distilled water. And I'm gonna move this paint around that's already on here. I don't need to get more paint yet. I'm just gonna move this around with a wet brush. I've added no medium to either one, to the colors, so just get it to fade to the edge there. Do it again. My goal is to get it to be a thinner, less harsh line. There we go. And then it's going to go with the direction of the feathers. So if I go here, I'll fade this one out too. Then I'll paint in the lines where the feathers are. And you can use a picture that you have of a hummingbird, a photograph, and you want to, if you're going to keep it for yourself, it's fine. You can find a bunch of them online, but if you are planning to sell it, I would not recommend taking them off the internet. Volume, there we go. We're going to turn it down a little bit. Okay. Get that extra line there. This is an Anna's hummingbird. You could do other types of hummingbirds, or in general other types of birds. I'm going to do a little bit of a line. This is my blender. I'm setting it down. I'm going to use the same brush I put those lines in with and make a line where his little armpit is and his wing. And keep that brush wet. And it's going to come down a little bit with the color. I'm just going to pull it down. There we go. With a damp brush. I'm glad you're here with me. As you probably know if you've been here before, I love painting hummingbirds. I have great respect for the female hummingbird. I mean, you know, males too, they're handsome, but the female, she does all the work. She goes and makes the nest, she gets everything ready, and then she goes and lays her eggs and she raises them all by herself. While the males fly around and do amazing feats of daredevil-ish flights and attract other females. That's what they do. At first I thought it was sad, then I thought, you know what? That's awesome. She does all that. And she does it cheerfully too. She doesn't seem to be complaining as far as I can tell. Yeah. I paint his little tail. There we go. Fade that one out too. Just gonna move it towards the center. There we go. It will be all black. Right now it's looking like ultramarine blue. And we can change that by going into the brown. Getting a little brown and mixing that back into the black. And going back over it. And I try to be careful to do the brush strokes like the feathers would be, so I don't want to just go any old way with my brush. I want to paint the direction that the feathers would be. There's another part that's going to be darker. His other wing is pretty dark. I like doing little 5x5 canvases because you don't have to take a long time to finish it usually. I mean, you can. Nothing wrong with that. There we go. And then I've got, it's a little bit more blurry in the background, so I'm going to fade that out a little bit. And I turned it sideways to get a good angle. And I'm using the round brush. It's a number 4, I think, is what it said. There we go. And then I noticed on the feathers, turn it back around. This will be other colored feathers later. Just move it around. And then there's feathers on his wing too. I've got the round brush. I'm going to put in the first one. And it's coming longer. It's going to be longer, so let's just go all the way down to here. And we'll thin that out. These are what keep him in the air, huh? I'm going to put this one down because it's a number 4. I want to get a smaller one. So I've got another round. This is number 3, but I want one that's going to come to a point. So what do we have here? This is a number 6. Interesting. Well, it's fine. I'm going to try it. And I need to turn the canvas because I need the right angle to do this. I'm just going to pull across this little area in the middle so that I can get it to lighten up in the middle. I'll wipe off the extra water and continue. I have a squeaky chair. All right. I'm just painting in the, I'm moving the paint around with a wet brush. I'm doing the same painting over again, over the edge there. I'm just going to go in the middle and pull it off. I think I need a smaller brush. The number 3 might be nice, but it might be nice to get even smaller. What do we have here? Let's get this guy. Number 20. Sure, we'll use you. Okay, I'm going to bring this line up so it's nice and even, and then I'm going to continue with the center of that wing feather. Just pulling with a wet brush. I don't want to use any paint. The paint's already on the canvas. It's just waiting to be moved around. Okay, I need to get more paint. Next feather. I could go the top here and put a little bit more. I think it took off a little bit too much. There we go. Yeah, that's good. The next line is going to be I'm going to get more paint, roll my brush so I can control where it's going. I'm going to do another one, see if I can get it to just still blend. I usually recommend waiting till you get the last one done, which I didn't do, but it's okay. I'm going to keep them at that angle, I think. I might put a little bit of gray in there. That would be good. So using this blender brush, I'm going to get a little bit of gray. And go right in the middle of those feathers so we're not seeing the flowery background behind it. There we go. That's looking pretty good. That gray's working pretty well. Load the brush by spinning it in there. Spinning it in the paint. My paint is starting to dry, so I have distilled water in this little sprayer. I'm going to spray it. Typically it dries a lot faster in the summertime, and it is in February right now, so shouldn't be drying so fast, but it is happening, so I'm taking care of it. Okay, and the next one, let's get that on there. Let me look at the design and see what we're doing. Okay, so it's gonna start, the feathers are gonna start going up more. Turn this down. Okay. It's gonna go more into a different shape, like I'm noticing that. So it's not gonna be like blinds, it's gonna be more up to the, like that. So it's smaller at the top than it is at the bottom. There we go. And then I'm going to continue with the gray. I need to do the next line to do that. And how would that be? It's going to be more like going up. Yes, and then again, I'm going to go lower and keep doing that. Next one's going to come down further, and it's just amazing how God created this little bird. And each intricate feather and the way it's designed, it's just amazing. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'll add the gray in just a minute. It's not gonna be a problem because I'll be able to still blend it today. And then as it gets lower here, the gray, this is no longer black, it's gonna be more gray. So let me get some gray, we'll put that in there. Get my brush wet, and then I'm gonna put it in the paint and roll it into the paint. This part right here is thinner, so I need to adjust that a little bit. Just painting in gray. And then here, it's just sort of fanning out. Like so. And let's make it blend with the gray. So if I clean off this brush, get all the paint off, right? Just rinse it off. I can use it as a blender, as it is. I'm gonna come in here and just pull that color together with the gray. There we go. It'll just push the paint around right now. And it does a fine job of it. I'm gonna need to get some more gray. And that's on this brush, switch that around. Put a little gray between them. There we go. And it fans open. I'm just blending that line. It doesn't need to be so harsh. I'm going to get some more gray. I just took it off there, so the damp brush took it off. There we are. And then to start with, I'm going to put a little bit of gray on his tummy, and then I'll put the feathers in. So this gray is mixed with white. Yes, he's going to have feathers, but right now I'm just going to put in some gray. So we don't have the background flowers as a color that pops up when I put his feathers in. It's going to be darker too. One back in the gray. I'm going to turn it upside down. I want to get the inside edge for it. And go right over that pencil line. And this over here on his side, well, he's upside down. Give me a minute here, we'll flip him back over. But this part here is going to be darker. Try underneath his head. Okay. So in the past when I've done hummingbirds, I have painted it feather by feather, and I'm going to do that. Go right over this. I just didn't want to have the background flowers as his background and the feather itself, which would kind of distort things a little bit. So he has a little bit of white where his bottom is. Put that in. And a little bit around where his feet are, but not much. He also has white in his eye. I'm going to put that in there. It's on both sides of the eyeball. Now I just got some white paint on my canvas here, so I can take that off with a Q-tip and get the white on his eye first. Yeah, looks like he has like a little eyeball, you know, like a person. The part in the part in the front is not as evident, but use a Q-tip and get that off of there. This is just damp, and I want to make sure, when I'm cleaning that off, I want to make sure and turn the Q-tip, so I'm using a cleaner area. So I'm going in, I'll be more careful with my finger painting, huh? Okay. All right, I'm ready to do little feathers, which is going to be darker. It's going to be a darker color for the feather itself. Just like a dark gray. It is a dark gray. Okay. It will dry darker than what it goes on. I'm just going to paint little spots here. I'm avoiding a pattern is what I'm doing. Go all the way down his tummy. My thought process is random. We're going to stay random. I'm just painting in the little circles of his feathers. And we'll add green in a little bit here, but for right now I'm just putting in the ones in front of his little stomach. And he's got darker feathers underneath his wing. I'll have green over here too. I'm gonna blend, so I've got my brush is cleaned off now, and I'm gonna blend into that color, pulling down into it. So it doesn't look like it's a spot on the surface of his body, it's actually a feather. I'm just using the damp brush and pulling up from that spot I just painted on. I'll get a little bit of white, because there is white in here too. Do his eye again. And there's white underneath each feather. I'm just touching the brush. I'm not really putting much effort into it, just touching it on there. I'm so glad you joined me today. Next video I'll be doing his head, of course, and finishing up his wing and the rest of his body. He's going to need little feet on the front too. They can be kind of tucked away a little bit. Yes, I'm glad you joined me. If you like this video, please subscribe to DK Boljat. Yeah, and if you like the video, please give it a like too. You can, if you hit the notification button, it will tell you when I have a new video coming out or when I'm working on this one again. So, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next video on this little hummingbird, painting this little hummingbird. Yeah, God bless you.